20 years ago, in 1972, when the first team of staff from Chicago flew across the Pacific to lay the groundwork for an Institute of Cultural Affairs office in Taipei. They carried a mission to care for the human factor in world development. From that time on, through the next 20 years, their ongoing challenge would be to figure out exactly what that mission was to mean on the island of Taiwan. In the first 5 years, ICA started out as a small office located across from National Taiwan University. The small yet dedicated staff devoted much of their time to understanding the unique culture and needs of Taiwan. Initial programs introduced ICA research and planning methods to business, educational, and community leaders. Study and discussion groups explored the changes occurring in Taiwan and the world around them. As more people and businesses became aware of what ICA could offer, requests for ICA services began to develop. ICA's Lens seminar series brought executives from local and multinational companies together to create new visions and strategies for their organizations. School teachers experimented with innovative styles of teaching and learning in imaginal education workshops. Personal growth seminars helped individuals to think through their own life values and goals. The ICA could finally begin serious research toward launching a grassroots community development project on the island. 1977 was a year of major changes for the ICA in Taiwan. The office was officially registered under the Ministry of the Interior. Subsequent granting of tax-deductible status by the Ministry of Finance helped ICA to obtain financial sponsorship for its community programs. With the help of the Council for Agricultural Planning and Development, ICA selected the distressed rural village of Hai-O in Pingtung County as the site for its community development project. From 1977 to 1982, ICA operated out of 2 locations. Business and educational programs continued, while the Taipei office moved to a larger facility in Tianmu. With the launching of the Hai-O Community Demonstration Project, the Kaohsiung office actually moved to the site, into space provided by the people of the village. Through the entire project, they would live and work shoulder to shoulder with the people of the Hai-O village. The Hai-O project was one of the most intensive, hands-on demonstrations of ICA concepts and methods. ICA staff led the visioning process, which expanded the people's frame of reference. They also provided leadership training, helped design new organizational systems, and actively supported the local implementation effort. For this project to be an authentic demonstration of sustainable development, the people of the village had to truly believe in their vision and carry out the day-to-day execution of their strategies. ICA's role in this was one of catalyst and coach, or in the words of the Tao Te Ching, it was the leadership role of facilitating another's process. Within only 3 years, Hai-O already showed dramatic transformation. New business ventures resulted in tripled per capita income. 50 new homes were constructed along with a community center, preschool, and health clinic. Social programs involved everyone in the village, and community workdays focused on improving and beautifying the environment. ICA arranged for village residents to visit similar projects in Japan, Korea, and the Philippines, as well as to host visiting delegations from across Taiwan and abroad.
In 1972, I was sent by an organization to join ICA's Lens seminar to learn leaderships. And from that, I have technologies for participations and also discussions and so on. Since then, in 1976, have a chance to let me perform what I learned from them and also what I learned from my daily activities. So that is Hai-O's consultations, and that is a 4 years project. And the This project is selected what the government priority not there, and ICA put their efforts. And we have a group of team in 1 week, make the whole project work out. So the first 2 years was ICA dedicated to make it happen and transfer the technology for the BGG leader. So how we started that project in the beginning is the first water tower was built by the BGG people and to solve their water supply problem for the health. And also the kindergarten was set up, and then also have a bus come to the villages, and then telephone lines, then let them have a chance to communicate with the regular world in Taiwan.
While the Hi-O project was its primary program activity from 1977 to 1982, ICA also began to refocus its services to the larger community. The first lens seminars for individual companies were held in Taipei and Kaohsiung. Student volunteer programs and a residential training institute gave people more extended opportunities for personal growth and career development. A growing list of Taiwan corporate sponsors provided the financial support base for ICA's expanding programs and services. In 1982, the people of Hi-O celebrated the many achievements of their 5-year project and assumed full leadership for their ongoing development. ICA began work on a program which it was co-sponsoring internationally with the United Nations. This 4-year project was called the International Exposition of Rural Development, or IERD for short. Its objective was to identify and document the most successful approaches to rural community development in over 60 nations. ICA was instrumental in obtaining permission for Taiwan to be a full participant in this UN program. For the next 4 years, ICA staff worked with local officials across the island to document and share Taiwan's remarkable accomplishments in land reform and rural construction with the world. Taiwan's achievements made a major impact at the 1984 IERD plenary session in New Delhi, India. As a result, the conference delegates selected Taiwan to host its Asia-Pacific Regional Assembly in November 1985. 13 nations sent delegations to this assembly. They visited community sites across the island, identified key success factors, and designed new forms of cooperation for community-based development throughout the Asia-Pacific region. Mr. Lee Deng-hui, Vice President at the time, welcomed the delegates to a reception at the Presidential Palace and shared with them his own experience in rural development. The IERD helped Taiwan gain recognition in the United Nations for its accomplishments in rural development, which in turn opened up new opportunities for its own leadership role in the region. Dr. Bosco Lee of National Taiwan University served on the IERD steering committee.
It has been so long, since 1982 until now. Many of the things I can still remember quite clearly. I think through all those years, almost 4 to 5 years, that we have been working together very closely. Through few of your staff members, I was quite amazed you'll be able to try to put everybody in this island, from the government agencies, from local government, from the academic institutes, and also from the farmers associations. We will be able to all sit together through seminars or through various activities, try to work together, identify what are the most significant factors or projects that has made our rural community developed like we are today. it was quite an accomplishment. And I still remember that you put this whole project together and made the exhibition and brought to India. You came back, everybody was quite pleased with what you have done. And the second thing I remember was the Asian Pacific Regional Assembly that was held in 1985 in Xito. Of course, that's another big job that we had accomplished. All the coordinations we tried to put together, all the connections. But finally, when everybody was here, I still remember the whole group went through the agriculture exhibition halls here at the National Taiwan University. And then the person that I met, I was very pleased to meet him, was Sir Kim Lindsay. What a wonderful, tremendous personality. And the way he facilitated the whole assembly was really quite amazed. And I'm sure that most of the people in that assembly was very happy. And of course, bring some of the pride to the local participants, also the government officials, about to have so many delegations from Asian Pacific region to come here and to observe what we have accomplished in the road development. And lastly, the third thing that I still very impressed was this Mr. Gordon Hopper. I don't know how to describe him, but sometimes I say he's a slave drive, just endless effort through telephone and through, just a face-to-face discussion, pushing us around. Well, it's not really pushing, but try to just to have everybody work together. That was very impressed.
In the meanwhile, the ICA staff moved to new facilities in Tianmu, which had an enlarged office as well as conference and training center space. Between 1982 and 1987, ICA expanded its visioning and strategic planning services for organizations with a variety of leadership development programs, conducted for more than 40 companies in Taiwan. Similar programs were done for government agencies and community organizations such as Kaohsiung City, Pingtung County, the Taiwan Provincial Government, farmers associations, 4-H club leaders, and the Ministry of Education. These programs focused on developing a shared vision and personal creativity, along with skills training in effective teamwork, consensus building, and planning processes for Taiwan's changing business and social environment.
Welcome to Meet the Future, the program designed to help you manage the rapid changes that are shaping our future. Today's program
1987 began another new phase in the journey. As a result of its work in organizational development, ICA was invited to create a daily talk series to run for 6 months on ICRT radio. The program was called Meet the Future and focused on the changing style of leadership organizations. Aired 3 times daily on ICRT in both English and Chinese, the program proved to be surprisingly popular and continued to be aired for more than 3 years.
Relationships as we move into the future.
管理的含义很广，管理的对象包括人和事。面对未来，每个人都必须管理自己，包括工作和人际关系。
Managing ourselves and others is a big challenge today. The situation and the rules are changing.
Thousands of transcripts from the series were distributed in response to the high volume of listener requests. Commonwealth Publishers issued a selection of the talks in its first bilingual English and Chinese book. One outgrowth of ICA's work on the IERD in sustainable development was a deepened recognition of the need for greater environmental care. Between 1987 and 1991, ICA launched several programs in Taiwan to heighten environmental awareness and to support local action projects. Established in 1988, the Taiwan Environmental Roundtable brought Chinese and expatriates together once a month in a bilingual setting to share concerns and activities with one another and with guest speakers. ICA introduced the electronic conferences of EcoNet, the International Ecology Network, to local environmental organizations and schools, the EPA, and the media. A symposium on deep ecology brought the distinguished United Nations consultant, Dr. Arne Næss of Norway, to Taiwan for 10 days in 1989. ICA co-sponsored local cleanups and led workshops, which helped companies and schools develop ways to be more environmentally proactive. In November 1990, ICA sponsored another kind of international conference in Taiwan. This was a follow-up to the United Nations report on development and the environment, which was entitled Our Common Future. Representatives from 25 nations joined government, business, and community leaders for the week-long series of presentations and workshops. Demonstrating Taiwan's relationship to the globe, daily reports from the conference were sent electronically to over 70 nations, and participants in the conference received feedback from across the world. At the end of the conference, each participant was given all the working documents on floppy disks instead of on paper. During this time, ICA expanded its programs in what it began to call organizational transformation. A journey model helped companies become more active learning organizations. 2 more books were published in Chinese. The first book, based on the Tao Te Ching, was entitled The Tao of Leadership. The second book, Empowering Leadership, contained a collection of talks from the ICRT Meet the Future series. ICA offices work together more closely on organizational transformation across the Asia-Pacific region, and staff from Taiwan facilitated programs in Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Macau. In 1991, ICA led a visioning process for the American Chambers of Commerce, which brought new life and energy to these organizations. 1992 marks ICA's 20th year of service to Taiwan, as well as commences perhaps yet another stage in its journey. ICA has begun offering new programs for developing human capacities, drawing on the deep wisdom about life in both Eastern and Western science. These programs have helped people to empower their personal journey of understanding and self-development as an essential component of organizational and social change. ICA and the Xu Li Foundation sponsored the first visit of Dr. Jean Houston of the Center for Mind Research to Taiwan for a 3-week series of programs on personal and cultural mythology. ICA also began to design and lead eco-cultural tours in Taiwan. 3-day cross-island expeditions provided an opportunity to authentically encounter Taiwan's archaeological past, as well as its ecology, sacred sites, indigenous cultures, and grassroots communities. Talks and reflective discussions along the way helped both Chinese and expatriates to perceive Taiwan from a multitude of fresh perspectives and to begin recreating the story of its historical significance and future possibilities.
You know, the recent program that I joined is the Jean Houston's program, which is really an enormous impact for me. At the first sight, when I see Jean, I was thinking that some kind of giants coming from heaven or something, from some other part of the world. She was so nice and so amiable and so kind to people. And then I started to have fun with her. When I started to have fun, it's even more interesting and more vigorous for me, especially when we're talking about drama, we're talking about Shakespeare. lots of wisdom and lots of talents that I can really, I call it, absorb from her experience and her teachings. And gradually, I think, I would call myself married to the programs of human capacity. That's why I decided to quit my original job and started to a brand new area called educational organization or educational publishing. I think this is a very good beginning, re-beginning for myself and both for my family as well as for my second career.
ICA is being assisted by the ROC government in making its computer-based environmental information services available island-wide. People anywhere in Taiwan can now share a wide range of environmental information through an electronic bulletin board, all for the cost of a local telephone call. This service gives people in Taiwan new ways to communicate rapidly with one another and with international environmental organizations. Among the first groups to make use of this service have been the Taipei American School and the Chinese high schools on the island. As ICA enters its third decade in Taiwan, it anticipates responding to the future needs of this society with new and innovative forms of service. ICA's mission continues here to be what it has been throughout its first 20 years, to care for the human factor in world development. For ICA, this means an ongoing commitment to working in partnership with the caring people of Taiwan to facilitate the process of constructive change for individuals, organizations, and the larger community.